I'm so deeply honored that the people of Colorado have chosen to share in my belief that Colorado's best days are still ahead.
I don't believe that we will lose the Colorado 3rd District. I look forward to being the Congresswoman once again in a second term and fighting for everything that we work so hard.
Now at 11, election 2022 is not done just yet, with many races still close to call. Who won, who lost, and the races that haven't been decided. We break down the big storylines of Election Day, going beyond just the numbers, talking changes to leadership, laws, and how it impacts your life. Thanks so much for joining us here on Denver 7 News at 11. I'm Jason Grenauer. It was your voice, your vote, and you made your voice heard on Election Day. Let's start at the top of the Democratic ticket. Colorado's Democratic incumbents are celebrating this morning. 4 more years for Governor Jared Polis and 6 more for Senator Michael Bennet. Not a lot of drama in their races. Starting with the one for governor. Governor Jared Polis has been reelected to a second term. He defeated Heidi Ganahl 58 to 40% in a bit of a runaway. Incumbent Senator Michael Bennet will head back to Washington. He beat Republican businessman and first-time challenger Joe O'Dea by more than 10% last night. Bennet is the first Colorado senator to win a 3rd term since the 60s. He will join former mayor and governor John Hickenlooper again in D.C. That makes 48 total Democrats confirmed in the U.S. Senate. They still need 51 total for control of that chamber, but there's still a few outstanding national races we continue to follow that will ultimately decide that balance of power. Okay, now let's talk about those tighter state races. I know I woke up, I was checking the numbers on the Denver 7 app, so we want to start with Colorado's newly formed 8th Congressional District. That race still too close to call. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta has been following this race and the returns all morning long. She's live in Thornton with the latest on where this race stands. Veronica?
It really has been one of the hottest races in Colorado, right? And you just said it, Jason, still too close to call. We don't know who's going to represent this new district just yet, but take a look at these numbers that we have on the screen here for you. This lets you know where exactly we stand. There's just over a 3,400 vote difference between both Yadira Carabeo and Barbara Kirkmeyer, so not a lot there. But regardless of who wins, they're going to represent a really big area. From the corner of Arvada all the way to north of Greeley. Carabeo did have a voter registration that did beat the Republican registration here by more than 12,000. If elected, she would be Colorado's first Latina member of the U.S. House of Representatives. The GOP, though, they spent a ton of money on TV ads to help Kirkmeyer, more than $2 million. But 538, that's a website that forecasts elections. They did a ton of simulations on this specific district, about 100 of them. And in 91 of those, Kirkmeyer came out on top. But like I mentioned, Carabeo has that slight lead. So we really have to wait until all of those ballots are counted to then see who actually is going to represent the newly formed District 8. We're in Thornton this morning. I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
We will continue to follow those numbers all day long. Veronica, thank you. The other big congressional race that is too close to call, Colorado's 3rd Congressional District. In a bit of a surprise, incumbent Republican Lauren Boebert, as you see there on your screen, trailing her Democratic competitor Adam Frisch, currently by about 3,500 votes. The outspoken Boebert refused to concede last night, but we haven't heard anything from either side since. Right now it's 51-49% with 93% of districts reporting. Now, there were also several statewide ballot initiatives that could change several state laws. Some of the tightest ones, still without a decision, are all about alcohol. Denver 7's Jessica Crawford is live in the newsroom. Jessica, we're still waiting to find out if we'll be able to buy wine in grocery stores or get alcohol delivered to us.
Yeah, verdict's still out on that. Ballots are still being counted on those 2 measures that could change the game when it comes to how Coloradans access alcohol. First, let's look at the votes for Proposition 125. It would allow grocery and convenience stores that already sell beer to sell wine as well. If this measure is approved, it would go into effect in March. Now on to Proposition 126. That one also undecided right now. It would allow third-party companies like DoorDash and Instacart to deliver alcohol to customers on behalf of grocery stores, convenience stores, liquor stores, bars, restaurants. The measure would also make takeout alcohol from restaurants permanent. A third measure is dead in the water. It would have allowed liquor stores to get more licenses and open more stores. Voters defeated Proposition 124, and it wasn't even close. More than 60% of voters rejected that measure. In the newsroom, I'm Jessica Crawford, Denver 7.
A whole lot of money poured into those races. Interesting to see just how tight they are, Jessica. Thank you. All right, let's take a closer look at some of those other big ballot initiatives now. Proposition 121, reducing income taxes. That passed with a large majority of voters saying yes. Proposition FF, funding a school meal program for all kids. That one's still too close to call. Proposition 123, the Affordable Housing Fund, also too close to call as of this morning. Now in Denver, Ordinance 307, that would build and repair sidewalks with fees on property owners. That's passing right now by a narrow margin. Ordinance 305, that would build an eviction defense fund through fees on landlords. Looks like it will not pass. As for Ordinance 2I, that increases taxes for library funding, including hiring wages or increasing wages for library workers and other public programs. That one, the library one, again, looks like it has passed. Let's move now to the elections on the national level. Several key races across the country remain at razor-thin margins. As the ballot count continues, control of Congress still remains up for grabs, both chambers. ABC's M. Wynn has more from Capitol Hill.
The votes are still being counted, but it appears neither Republican hopes for sweeping victories nor Democrats' fears of crushing defeats were realized. In Pennsylvania,
we bet on the people of Pennsylvania, and you didn't let us down.
Democrat John Fetterman winning Pennsylvania's open Senate seat. The lieutenant governor defeating Republican Mehmet Oz, who was endorsed by former President Trump. ABC News learning Oz called Fetterman this morning to concede. While Trump's endorsement didn't help Oz, another candidate he backed, Republican J.D. Vance, won his Senate race in Ohio.
We'll never forget where I came from, and I will never forget the great people of Ohio. Thank you for this honor to serve you.
His Democratic opponent, Representative Tim Ryan, calling out so-called election deniers in his concession speech.
The way this country operates is that when you lose an election, you concede.
Several other key Senate races, including Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, and Georgia, are still too close to call.
Keep the faith and keep looking up. Just hang in there a little bit longer.
If neither Democratic incumbent Raphael Warnock nor Republican challenger Herschel Walker gets to 50%, they'll face a runoff election next month, which, just like 2021, could have the state of Georgia deciding which party controls the Senate. And in the House,
it is clear that we are going to take the House back.
Republicans were predicting a red wave, but they may end up with the same slim majority Democrats have had for the last 2 years.
The Democrats were able to hold a bunch of their seats. They lost a few on the margins here, but they also picked up some Republican seats.
Republicans believe voters would focus on their dissatisfaction with the economy and President Biden's policies, but nearly 3 in 10 said that abortion rights was their top issue, just about the same as those who named inflation. M. Wynn, ABC News on Capitol Hill.
Now here at Denver 7, we want to give you the full picture of this midterm election. You can find the most up-to-date election results on denver7.com. From the state and local candidates to the most important ballot measures impacting your day-to-day life. You can also stream all of our reporters' stories, talking to the candidates who won, those who lost, and the people who came out to vote. It's all on the Denver 7 Plus app. While most eyes were on the big statewide and national elections, there's another smaller contest in Aurora that caught our attention.
We were looking at the calendar and said, well, why not wait until Election Day and really give kids the true Election Day experience?
I'm a bit nervous, because I never voted.
The students at Arrowhead Elementary in Aurora voted yesterday for their new school mascot. Now, they used to be the Thunderbirds, but now they're considering a fun range of candidates for their new representative.
I'm going to vote for the Stegosaurus.
The Lions.
For the Fox.
Tough choice. The winning mascot will be announced later on this month during a school assembly. Arrowhead Elementary says this is going to give them time so they can get a new mascot costume and gear for the kids with that new mascot on it. Okay, we can all take an exhale. The political ads are over and we have other news to bring you. That includes hundreds of families in Denver getting a new grocery store today. But this grocery store is different. It's at their neighborhood school and it's free to shop at.
What we believe is that hunger is not an issue of scarcity. Oftentimes it's a matter of logistics. How do we get people access to fresh and affordable food? And so we came up with this concept of putting free grocery stores inside of high need schools so that students have the ability to access food and resources for their home when they need it.
Now, Gooder is the name of this store, and it's teaming up with the city of Denver, Denver Public Schools, Amazon, and Aetna to put free grocery stores at Place Bridge Academy and at Colfax Elementary. Meanwhile, the city of Lakewood wants to make sure its residents see their tax dollars in action by creating a bit of a contest. So here's how it works. The city putting up these signs that say, "Your money at work." Each month, the signs go up at different places.
We're asking residents to take their most creative photo of that project and then tell us their story about it. What memories have they created there? Why is this amenity important?
October's winner was Holly Freeman, who wrote that she ran around Addenbrook Park in college, and now 20 years later, she's back in Lakewood and running around that park every day. You can learn more about that contest on the City of Lakewood's website. There's another excuse to head to Colorado's high country. The latest ski resort opened for business this ski season. That is still to come.